Officer Taylor Nielsen says that she is grateful to be alive. She is back in her squad car, back on the job 6 months after she tried to take her own life. She has an ongoing battle with PTSD. She says it stems from responding to a gruesome and heartbreaking crime. February 17th, 2016 is a date that will stick with Officer Taylor Nielsen her entire life. She was called to the scene of a double murder in Zionsville to collect evidence. It wasn't until she arrived that she learned a 31-year-old mother and her 4-year-old son had been fatally shot. The ages of the victims and the severity shook her to the core.
Started having nightmares and flashbacks and triggers, and it was just, I felt like I was alone during the entire battle. It was hard. It was really hard.
5 months later, Nielsen was diagnosed with PTSD. She started having suicidal thoughts.
I would just think, you know what, I'm just getting a big old car wreck and, you know, not come out of it, and no one will ever know that it was suicide. And that's kind of how it started to snowball.
On October 15th, she attempted to take her own life. 2 of her friends and fellow officers found her in a field and committed her to Community North.
Those officers were supposed to be strong. We're supposed to not cry. We're supposed to not be angry. And the fact of the matter is, we're human.
That fact became far more real for her father, Boone County Sheriff Mike Nielsen, one he shared publicly.
It allowed me the opportunity to understand the positions that I have put young officers in at times. Not physically all the time, but emotionally.
He and his daughter are joining Senators Joe Donnelly and Todd Young to push for more mental health services for law enforcement. And they're hoping that by sharing their story, they can break down the barriers to seeking help. Nielsen says it's a career she doesn't plan to shut the door on anytime soon.
I love my job. I love my job. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
And Donnelly and Young's legislation that they have introduced would direct more federal funding toward peer mentoring programs. Possible pilot programs also would direct 2 federal agencies to work with mental health providers to look at ways that they can better be equipped and educated on the needs specifically for law enforcement. Reporting live tonight, Katie Hines, RTV6.